All right, so thank you again, everyone who has attended today. We're going to begin today's presentation, 5 immediate website updates. So you can stand out and market yourself as the retirement plan expert that you are. Let's first begin with what is marketing? And we're going to kind of dive into 3 different themes here today. The first one is your external marketing. So when people first engage with your website, what is that experience like? We're going to talk about that. Then how do you build a reputation online, a digital reputation, so when plan sponsors are curious and they're Googling for information, your company is going to be the first one that comes up, and you become known as the authority and the expert, the person that they should go to for questions, for comments, for your experience. And then how do you parlay your external marketing as well as your reputation into building influence? So over time, you're going to get asked for speaking engagements at your local chamber of commerce. ERISA attorneys are going to contact you. TPAs are going to contact you. And when your local wholesale partners are thinking, who is the retirement plan advisor that I want to do business with, that I want to partner with? They're going to know who you are, and eventually they might even softball some nice introductions your way, inbound leads through growing your influence. This is one of my absolute favorite talking points. It's the question of what is marketing. And I'm not going to dive into this too much in today's conversation, but a lot of advisors, when we first start working with them, they have this idea of marketing. And it can be anything from a business card to a website to that printed brochure that you're handing to a plan sponsor. And yeah, that's true. All of that collectively makes up marketing in general. We're going to break these down a little bit easier so you can digest them and really laser focus your practice. You can think, where am I going in 2017? What are the critical marketing pieces that I should be investing in to make my business ultimately the most successful that it can be? All right, so first one's first. I promised 5 website updates. Also, just a quick update. We host these calls every month, different topics, always value add, and we try and keep them to 30 minutes or less to maximize your day. So the first one is, we live in a digital economy, right? Everyone knows this. I have a favorite story that one of my clients shared with me, and he said, Rebecca, I have 2 offices. My first office, you walk in, we have a physical address, I have a lovely receptionist, and she always greets you and invites you to sit down, and would you like bottled water, tea, a soft drink? And we keep our professional office beautiful, fresh flowers, nice conference room, very classy organization. However, we have another office, and it's our digital office. And we spend just as much time and attention making that curious prospect who's on our website feel just as welcomed. We keep it up to date, whatever the new modern technology is, we're always on the cutting edge of that. So whether it's parallax scrolling, or if it's a video, an infographic, a whiteboard animation, all of those things affect your digital reputation. So the first thing for our website hack today is to Google yourself. Go to your website, Google your competition as well. Find out how your site compares to your competitors. Also, and this is the first tip that I'll share with you, register your business's name with Google. So when people are looking for your organization and they type in your name, you want Google to recognize that you're a business. So go to Google, type in your business name, see what pops up, see if it's your business. And if it's not, and you should do this anyway because it's the best practice, type into Google, register with Google, and it's a Takes about 2 weeks to get it done, but that will help you with your search engine optimization to get your website to be the first one that appears on the search engine. The next tip for today is to standardize your brand. Now, I mentioned today's 5 website updates. This one is actually really critical. When you go on your website, you look at the font, look at the pictures, look at the colors. Make sure that all of that is uniform. So if your logo has the color blue in it, what color blue specifically is that? And that should be the only blue that is throughout your entire website. Your brand is very, very important, and each time a prospect and a client interacts with your brand, they should leave feeling trusted, confident, secure in the fact that they're working with you, their trusted advisor. And one of the ways that you can do that is just a small update. It's making sure that you have a consistent brand throughout. I'm going to give you just a quick example. Here are some plan sponsor specific marketing materials that your office could have to help professionalize your first introduction. Obviously, your logo. Make sure you have a great logo. On your website, this is one of those things that I think is funny on my side. There are PNG files and there are JPEG files. A PNG file has a transparent background. A JPEG file has a white background. When you go on your website, look at your logo. Make sure that if it's supposed to be transparent, have your website team update it with a PNG file as opposed to this JPEG. Also, just make sure your website image looks crisp. That's another important thing. And again, your website team can absolutely support you with this. Business cards, mobile friendliness of your site. You can Google and find out very easy if your website is mobile friendly. Also, every one of us has a smartphone. Grab your smartphone, take a look at it, and just make sure that your website looks and feels comfortable to a viewer if they're looking at it on their phone. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've been out and about running errands or at meetings, and I need to find something quick. Well, what do we all do? We pull up Google or whatever internet browser we're utilizing. We type in our question, and then maybe because I'm getting older, if that font size isn't readable, I X out. I go immediately to the next one. So just take a look at your site on your mobile device and confirm that it looks good. Additionally, Google updated their search engine algorithm in April of last year, where if a site is not mobile friendly, they're going to ding you in their search rankings. So making sure that your site is mobile friendly is very important. Then look at your company brochures. If you have a PowerPoint, make sure it looks good as well. Your external marketing is today's professional handshake to help when you're talking with plan sponsors and demonstrating your expertise. This is an example of what consistent branding looks like. So from website to plan sponsor brochures, executive overviews, institutional service calendars, PowerPoint presentations, business cards, everything is consistent. So it doesn't matter if a plan sponsor is visiting this, interacting or visiting this with this company the first time or the 100th time, all of their branding is the same. Next action item is social media. It's kind of cool to realize this. LinkedIn has been around since 2003. I was really surprised to learn that. And Facebook since 2004. Social media is here to stay. Whether or not we continue to see the big three over the next 5, 10, 20 years, that's up in the air. But the fact that social media is absolutely going to be prevalent in our society. So when you're thinking about your company, and if you want to increase your web presence, make sure that your organization has a company profile on LinkedIn, company profile on Twitter, and the same thing with Facebook. Keep in mind, LinkedIn is for your professional audience, Twitter is for selling, and Facebook is for the familiar. So company appreciation events, new hires, promoting them on there. If you do a charity event, all appropriate for Facebook. LinkedIn, blog articles, thought leadership, reposting, great. And then Twitter, if you have a new product or idea or you're pitching something, that's where you can share it. Let me know if you guys have any questions on social as well. Then, to take social one step farther, search for your company name in social. Find out what those major channels are saying about you. And by the way, that does include YouTube. Very, very important. YouTube is owned by Google. Google is the world's #1 search engine. And guess what? YouTube is the #2 search engine. So check out YouTube too. And sometimes we accidentally forget whether it's our personal life or our professional life. Just make sure that the real you, the professional you, or at least the internet-friendly version of you, is the one that is being seen when people Google you. That's another good tip for today. Just Google yourself. Find out what images come up, because sometimes we didn't tag ourselves in photos, but our friends did, and you want to make sure that whatever is being placed or said about you in the internet is a true reflection of who you are. I had a duplicate spot there. All right, and number 4 is your current website, your current website. So everyone, if you could, take a look at the screen. I want you to focus on website A. I want you to focus on website B. And then I'd like you to focus on website C. These are local dentists here in San Diego. And not financial services, but dentists. Well, the reason I'm sharing these 3 websites on the screen in front of you today is that a lot of us can self-identify where our website falls. Does our website look like A? Does it look like B? Or does it look like C? So I give this presentation at industry conferences on a pretty regular basis. And at this point, I ask the audience to look at each one of these sites. And I say, if you think the most professional dentist is the company behind website A, raise your hand. If you think the most professional dentist is website B, raise your hand. And then, of course, as you all know, everyone raises their hand at website C. Now, we as people, we make a quick snap judgment. The average person spends 7 seconds on a brand new website. 7 seconds. They make their immediate judgment calls. Well, if you're a prospect, fund sponsor, you're curious, you're looking at websites. If you see an advisor website A or B, what is your inclination? 7 seconds. Whereas if you come across website C, which is a more modern site, chances are that would lead to engagement and at least a digital dialogue. I'm going to come back to this slide. This is a recent study from MassMutual. They found that 43% of plan sponsors say it's important that their advisor has a good website. And 41% of plan sponsors say that it's important to have the value proposition stated right on the main page. And I have a famous quote. I don't know if I created it or if I heard it somewhere and then I just made it my own. But I think it's very important that we all remember the internet is editable. So whatever your website looks like today, that's okay. The internet is editable. And it's a lot easier nowadays to edit than ever before. And it's also come down a lot in terms of price. So in front of you, these are 9 different companies, including our own, full disclosure, that you can create beautiful websites through. And the majority of them have an agreement with your existing broker-dealer and or have worked with your RIA and the compliance team. We've worked with the majority of broker-dealers and the large RIA compliance companies as well throughout the country, specifically for ERISA and retirement plans. So if you have any questions on how to create a website, or if you're worried that your content won't be able to get approved, just let us know. We can always help and support you. The third website tip for today is on search engine optimization. Big word, SEO. What does it mean? Well, all SEO is when people type into Google looking for answers, that on the other end of the search engine, there's a solution. Well, one way that you can increase your company's SEO by leaps and by bounds is to write a blog. So a blog is an article posted on the internet. That's all it is, an article posted on the internet. And it has a long shelf life. So if you write a blog, and we here write monthly blogs, it'll stay on the internet forever. So people can always come back to your fountain of knowledge. At this point, a lot of advisory teams are like, well, what would I write about? And here's a couple of ideas. The first one is if you have a story, chances are you've had lots and lots of conversations with your clients over the years, and you've developed interesting story ways to explain plan design, fiduciary governance, participant outcomes, 404C, maybe even accumulations and decumulations. You know the story about how climbing a mountain takes a completely different skill set than descending a mountain. And more mistakes happen when a person's climbing down the mountain. Well, that could be a blog article. And you could talk about the savings struggle. Also, and on the screen in front of you, if you notice, there's a newsletter called Lift Retirement. This is actually our newsletter. We publish every quarter with new content about what's going on in our industry, and it's all plan sponsor and employer facing. Well, if you subscribe to a newsletter, what you can do is borrow the story from your newsletter. Most newsletters have between 3 and 5 stories. Copy and paste it. Please don't plagiarize. However, copy and paste one of the articles and then make it your own. Add your tonality, add your isms, and then share that back on your website through social media to increase your search engine optimization. We actually recommend this to all of our clients and give them the opportunity to borrow our articles through our newsletter so that way you can create your own blog. All right. So we talked a little bit about Google, and I want to make sure that there's 3 key takeaways for today, specifically around Google. The first one is to Google your company name. Can't stress that enough. Google your company name. See what comes up. Make sure it's your firm. And if it's not your firm, the second tip, register your company with Google. Absolutely, please do it. Next with Google, or the third point, is to Google your name. Make sure that any pictures that do come up are a good representation of who you are. When you search for your name, the 3 hyperlinks that come up first, the 3 search features, you want to make sure that you have at least 2 out of the 3 of these, and preferably 3 out of 3. The first one is your company biography. That should be the very first thing that comes up. If that's not the first thing that comes up, it should be your LinkedIn profile. And then the third, so company biography, LinkedIn profile, and the third is an article that you wrote and or were quoted in. Those are the 3 things that you want to appear when you Google your name. And the reason why is you want to be the authority of you. So I'll share a quick story. My name is Rebecca Auerhand, And for years, I Googled myself, and there's a geneticist. She lives in Cork, Ireland. She's written a lot of wonderful research papers that are way over my head. And this geneticist, when you type in my name, she ruled the Google search engine algorithms. It was all her. Nowhere, anywhere was I to be found. Well, after updating my LinkedIn profile, maintaining my LinkedIn profile, updating my company biography, and writing consistent blog articles. We do once a month. Now, when you Google my name, yeah, guess what? I come up. She's still obviously there. She do show the same names, and she's a wonderful geneticist. But I'm now the top 3, which I'm very excited about. So you should be the authority for your name. So check those out. All right, well, we live in 3 spheres. Our first is our external. How do people perceive your brand? Remember the websites we just shared with the street dentist organization? What does your site look like? Mission critical. Make sure your website's beautiful, it's welcoming. That's going to be your digital storefront. Then building your reputation, making sure you're the authority for your name. And then last but not least, influence. So how are you, through the internet, gaining influence, getting people to know who you are, so that way you can become known as the go-to retirement plan advisor. We like to break them down internally here at 401k Marketing into external reputation and influence. Feel free to take a screenshot of this if you're interested. These are the things that we define as your external marketing, specifically for the 401k and the retirement plan industry, then your reputation and your influence. And the one thing about marketing that is really important to stress is that it builds on each other. Builds on each other. Your external is your foundation, then your reputation, and last, your influence. If you try and launch influence marketing, and to be frank, if your website sucks, no one's going to listen. They're going to X out their browser. Doesn't matter if it's great content. We live in such a visually overstimulated world that we have to, our design and our content needs to be aligned, all the while building your brand, your influence, and your trust. So with that, I want to say thank you, everyone, so much for attending today's Insider Series 5 website immediate updates. I've given you a little bit more than 5 through our conversation, but if you have any questions, my name again is Rebecca Auerhahn. I'm the founder and CMO at 401k Marketing. We work with the retirement plan industry, TPAs, and service providers to do professional branding and marketing, as well as outward promotion to build reputation and to build influence. So with that, I'm going to hit the pause button on the recording, and then if you have any questions, bottom right or top right-hand corner of your screen, there's a chat feature. Please ask away. I'd love to take audience questions.